Hi everyone. I'm here today to review and discuss the StudioMakeup On The Go palette. This was received in our September BoxyCharm boxes, and I had a chance to do a little bit of a first look at it at my unboxing, but these are the shades. I've had some time to get to use these. I did the look that I have going on today on my eyes with this. I have some thoughts on this that I want to share. I'm going to do some swatches of these, both with my fingers, with a brush, and with some MAC Fix Plus on a brush to show you how these perform in those ways. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the company and the product and share a little bit of the information that I found out about this. I didn't find it very easy to find information about this brand, partly because StudioMakeup as a brand name is so generic. If you're trying to search StudioMakeup on the internet, then you're going to get a lot of things about makeup studios, studio makeup that's used for TV. It is such a generic name that it becomes very hard to find very much information. But I went to their website. Also, it does say on here that the brand is distributed by StudioMakeup, which is in Florida, and it is made in the USA but assembled in the Dominican Republic, which is not something that I've seen too much. I'm fairly new to this, so that's not a surprise, but most of what I see is made in the USA, if it comes from the USA. The website really does not have a lot of information, and the About Us section was annoying. Like, listen to this bull. Our mission is to define your day, transform your tomorrow, and enhance your future, because we know that life begins when you go studio. In StudioMakeup, we look to give cosmetics lovers, influencers, and makeup artists the tools they need for today to transform their tomorrow. What's that bull crap? Transform your tomorrow. Believe that life begins just outside your comfort zone. Always be passionate and onward looking. Live in the moment while knowing the best is yet to come. Be a dreamer and a doer, social yet independent, and embrace the cosmopolitan attitude. Here at StudioMakeup, we believe professional beauty doesn't have to come with a professional price tag. That's why our goal is to always be the most inclusive professional cosmetic brand. And then it goes on about their trends being sculpted by global trends, Miami, Paris, blah, blah. But I mean, that's just such a bunch of bull crap. Like, it doesn't tell me anything about your products, about what makes you different from anybody else. It's a whole bunch of inspirational words jammed together to try to make it sound like you have some kind of vision. And they talk a little bit about being the most inclusive brand and, you know, great cosmetics at a good price. And I'll get to the pricing later because the pricing is a little strange, in my opinion. It does not say that the products are cruelty-free, and it does say that some of the products include the ingredient carmine, which is the red dye, basically, that's made from insects. So there's that. The eyeshadow palette itself does contain, as I mentioned before, carmine. It also contains talc, so that's a good thing for you to know in case you're sensitive to that ingredient, and mica, which I'm not too concerned about. It also contains bismuth oxychloride, which can be an irritant to some people. So if you find yourself sensitive to some of those ingredients, this might not be for you. I mentioned that I found the pricing to be a little bit strange. In the BoxyCharm pricing, it says that this is $49.95, and it also says that on their website. And for $49.95, it's cardboard packaging, and like, you could give us a mirror. I'm gonna tell you now, I do like these eyeshadows, but that's 50 bucks. As a comparison, because this to me looks a lot like the Kai Shadow palette that recently came out. The Kai Shadow palette actually has slightly larger pans, 0.1 of an ounce larger pans, and it is selling for $42. So somehow, and I mean that one has all the brand hype going on with it. So somehow this is $8 more for slightly less product than something that is being sold by Kylie Jenner, which everybody talks about those prices being high. So I thought that was a little odd. Even odder, if you go to StudioMakeup's website, they have other eyeshadow palettes. They have a nudes palette, which is 8 pans laid out much like the Naked palettes, and it is only $25. And that one comes with a brush and a eyeshadow primer. So this one is twice the price of one that is only, that seems like a similar product, if not has more in it. They also have eyeshadow quads, which are $24, and then single eyeshadows, which are $14. So to me, the single eyeshadow and this palette seem higher priced than their eyeshadow quads and that nudes palette, just sort of if you're comparing the whole line. It makes me actually wonder if they usually charge that much for this, or if they're just saying it's that much so it looks like a higher value when you get it in your BoxyCharm box. I'm not saying this is bad, I'm just saying that some of the palettes you can get at Sephora for brands that are really well known are comparable to the price of this. And again, it's made out of cardboard and there's no mirror. Like, I don't think I would look at this and think I want to spend $50 on it. I do like the eyeshadows, I just think that the price is a little out of whack. So we're going to go now into swatching. I'm going to, as I said, do finger swatches. I am then going to go in with a dry brush and show you a dry eyeshadow brush and show you what it looks like when you use it with a brush. And if it is a shimmer shade, then I'm going to also go in with a flat brush and some MAC Fix Plus and show you how it looks when you use it that way. For doing the swatches, we're going to go row by row, starting with the top row. And the first color is this shimmery white cream color. Which goes on pretty nice with the finger swatch, but I found it was harder to get to apply to my eyes. And we'll see that with the brush swatch here. There's just not a lot of the color payoff when using a brush. So I did find when I was using this, it's quite pretty, but you either have to pat it on with a finger or use MAC Fix Plus, as I did with the last swatch. And it actually is a little bit brighter than this swatching shows. I'll turn my arm a little bit here in a moment, and you'll see just the angle was a bit off, but it does pick up quite a bit of shine. The middle color on the top row is this matte cream color. There's a little bit of color payoff there. It's a little chunky when I did that with my finger. What I do find is that I don't really see a difference between it and my skin when I actually put it on my eyelids, so I mostly have to use it as a base. The last color on the top row is this yellow shimmer, which I quite enjoy. You can see it there with the finger swatch. The brush swatch is a little harder again to get the color payoff to be very good, but when you use it with MAC Fix Plus, it comes out quite nicely, actually a bit nicer than it looks like in this swatch. And again, I apologize for the camera being a bit off. You will see, I'll turn my arm in a moment. There we go. So the top row has two shimmer colors and the one matte. The middle row starts out with a color that I use in the crease a lot, and it's this sort of warm light brown, which I went back in and did it again because it actually does show up pretty well on my eyes. I don't know why it isn't showing up very well in the swatches when I was doing them. But I do find this is a great transition color to use in my crease, and it is a matte warm brown. The next color is my favorite color in the whole palette. It is this amazing shimmer copper. You can just see how beautiful and bright that is. Even with a brush, just dry, it's not as good, but it still comes off great. And then when you use the MAC Fix Plus, oh my goodness, I just wanted to keep swatching this. Like, it's not glittery in any way, it's just this beautiful shine. And then the last color in the middle row, again, wasn't finger swatching well, but it is a matte brownish orange. And it goes quite nicely to build up color along with that copper. And the brush also does it quite well, and this is another color I'll use in my crease. So the middle row has two mattes and one shimmer, and oh my goodness, that color in the middle is just beautiful. The bottom row is the darker ones. It is all matte, and it starts out with a dark brown, and it has great color payoff both with the finger and with the brush, and it is wonderful for the outer V. There is then the darkest brown, and again the same thing. I don't see the hugest difference between these two bottom shades, but they are good matte shades, and there's good color payoff with the brush, and they do seem to blend quite well. And then the last color is this black, matte black, and
It is quite good, and you'll see when I use the brush swatch as well. I really enjoy having this. It's the best matte black I have in my collection. I don't have a huge collection, and it's really great to use this underneath some of my colorful shades to make them really pop. So it's all matte along that bottom row.
Finally, I'm going to zoom you in and show you the look that I have on my eyes today. I really like it. It makes me feel very shimmery sun goddess look. And I'll just point out which ones I used and where on the eyelids. So I started out by using this color right here on a fluffy brush in my crease, moved that around a bit and brought it all the way to the inside. I then used this color right here, just a little bit of the dark brown, but not the darkest brown, to darken up just the outer corner. And then the fun part of it was going in with the colors on the eyelids, because I did 3 colors. I started out with this orangey-ish one here on the very outside corner and inside corner of my eyes. I then went in with this shade, which I think is my favorite one in the whole palette, this really copper shimmery shade, and put it right next to it on each side. I then went in with this color here, which is a yellowy shade of shimmer, and put it right in the middle. And once I went in and did that with a sort of flatter eyeshadow brush, I then went back in with my fluffy brush and this color here to blend along the top, to sort of blend the top edge of it. I then went and took my finger and used it in the shimmer shade to pat on a little bit more of the 2 shimmer shades that I used on my lid. That helped both blend it and bring the colors out a bit more. I decided at this point that I didn't want to use a dark eyeliner because it was looking very bright and light looking. So I went in with this darkest brown shade just on a angle brush and used it on my top eyelash line, and used it to darken up that lash line almost like an eyeliner. I brought a little bit of that down underneath, and then I also used this orangey shade all the way along my bottom lash line, and a little bit of this shade for about half of it as well. Finally, what I did was use this yellow shade on a brush just to highlight my inner corners. I've also done a couple of looks over trying this where I use some of these darker colors just in my outer V, along with this color, which is, for me, really good for blending in the crease, and then using this lightest shimmer shade through the middle and the inside of my eye to do a nice smoky to bright eye. I find this shade, which is the lightest matte shade, I try to highlight with it, but for me, it's just not bright enough to stand out as a highlight on my skin. It does work quite well to use along here to blend the top line of whatever my crease color is, or I've also used it all over my lid to start with to sort of have something for the other colors to blend into. So I like this eyeshadow palette. I think if this was more reasonably priced and you don't have a problem with the talc and the some of the ingredients in it, I would say that I really think this is good. For me, I don't have a lot of eyeshadow so far, and there's a lot of orange and yellow going on in here, but it still has some good solid neutrals in it, or everyday shades that you can use in a lot of different looks, that it is good. I like the product. I would probably not buy this product at this price. If I'm going to spend this amount on a palette, I'm going to spend it on a palette that I know the name brand of. I would also say I tried to find where you could buy this from, because it says on their website that if you're interested in where you can buy it retail, to email them, which I did 2 days ago, and they haven't gotten back to me yet. I saw somewhere that it was for sale at one of our Canadian drugstores, Jean Coutu, which tends to be in Quebec. I actually went in there and tried to look for one and didn't see it anywhere. It does say that you can order them online, but only if you're in the US. So for the rest of us, I don't know where we could go to buy it if you wanted to buy this in store, which is a little bit disappointing. I feel like the product is good. I'm not feeling so hot about the company, just because I don't feel like I can find out enough about them. And I feel like what they do say is kind of inspirational crap jammed together. You know, I would prefer if there was an about me or about the company section of a website that told me who the founder was, why they started, where they produce it. I mean, it does say on the back of this palette where it's made, but I'd prefer if you would tell me that. Tell me what makes you stand out from other cosmetics brands. So I hope you enjoyed this today, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Let me know if you would like to see me do other looks or perhaps a tutorial with this palette. I did enjoy getting this in my BoxyCharm once again. I think it's a nice set of shades. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you're enjoying this, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.